Welcome back to 11:30 The Tiger Podcast. This is Dylan Marsh right here, and as you can tell, we have a camera again, and I don't know what happened to it. I finally found it, so now some of our podcasts are going to be back on video. Some of them will still just be audio. And recently, I'm sure if you noticed, everything is just straight football related. Well, today that's going to change. As you see, I'm repping Texas Rangers tonight. That's because we're going to be talking about how, because football has dominated this past couple weeks. Beginning of football, football's back. I love football. You love football? Your grandma loves football. So baseball has definitely been swept under the rug. But 3 days ago, a big news story broke out because of the Chicago Cubs clinched their division, the fifth fastest in MLB history. And the Cubs are the team to beat this year. No doubt. They are young. They have fun. Chris Bryant is amazing. Their pitching is outstanding. Their manager is probably one of the best managers in the league. No doubt. He is the best manager in the league with Joe Madden. So, and if you live in Louisiana or around, or Texas, in that matter, you are a Texas Rangers fan or a Houston Astros fan, usually. So, the Astros are basically out of it. They have a small chance, but not a huge one. So I'm going to talk about the Texas Rangers and how their magic number to win the division is 5 games away. And you should be excited about the Rangers if you're a Ranger fan going in to this playoff run, because the lineup is stacked through trades, free agency this offseason, and picking up someone after they were released after the trade deadline. So let's go ahead and start talking about the lineup. And I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the 2 people the Rangers got right at the trade deadline with Justin LaCroix, the catcher from Milwaukee. He's also, he's from Florida, but he played ball at the University of Louisiana Lafayette. And he's batting .296, killing it with 23 home runs and 78 RBIs on the year. And the Brewers wanted to get rid of him because he wasn't producing like they thought. But once he came to Arlington, his first at bat, a shot right over the left field wall. And since that, Justin LaCroix has been the heart and soul of that lineup behind Adrian Beltre and Rufin Odor. He's killed it since he's arrived in Texas. Then also, the 39-year-old phenom. I don't know if you want to call him a phenom because he's been in the league for, 18 years experience in MLB. Carlos Beltran, the 39-year-old who was playing for the New York Yankees, killing it, crushing the ball every single game. This year, he's batting .300 right now with 27 home runs, 88 RBIs, and a .342 on-base percentage. He's 39. And him and LaCroix have been a huge staple of what the Rangers have been doing since Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder was not having his best year at all. Then he had to get that season-ending, possibly career-ending spine surgery. And the Rangers were not doing well until after that. I feel like that was an emotional lift-up. And also these 2 guys coming into the lineup with Beltran and LaCroix to definitely give that spark what it needed again when it was missing whenever Fielder's on fire. And when the Astros released Carlos Gomez, if you paid attention to baseball, you know who he is, because when he was with the Brewers about 2 or 3 years ago, he was lighting it up. Then last year he killed it with the Astros, and this year he's been, cursed with injuries and not performing well at all. So the Astros released him. And the Rangers picked him up, I think, the next day. Or the day of. And Gomez, his stats don't show well right now. He's batting .217 with 11 home runs and 45 RBIs. But his average has gone up 35 points since he's gotten to Texas. And I think that shows about what always happens in Texas. What always happens in Texas? You might ask, because I just said that, of course. But what always happens in Texas is they always get these middle-aged players who everyone thinks are starting to become washed up or has-beens, like, Prince Fielder, like a Vladimir Guerrero, and all these, they always get these players to come play in Texas, the blistering heat, probably the hottest stadium during the summer, which is why they're now hopefully going to build a new stadium that has a retractable roof and air conditioning. If you're a Ranger fan or you love to go to games, then praise the Lord. And I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, okay. And with these additions to the lineup, it just makes it more deadly. The starting lineup for the Rangers are Justin LaCroix catcher Mitch Moreland, who's having a usual Mitch Moreland year, always contributing, 244 with 22 home runs. He's only 31, 6 years experience. And then Rougned Odor, if you don't know who he is by now, it's the guy who punched Jose Bautista in the face for sliding into him. They call him the Venezuelan Cowboy for a reason. That dude is tough, he's rough, and he plays baseball amazing. He's 22 years old. This dude's 5'11", 195 pounds, and he basically knocked Jose Bautista, who's like 6'3", 6'4", probably about 230 on the ground. And he's having a breakout year. He's 22 years old, second year in the league. He's batting .279 with 31 home runs, 85 RBIs, and a .303 on-base percentage. And at shortstop, we have Elvis Andrus, always consistent. Adrian Beltre at third base, probably the best third baseman to ever play the game, in my eyes. He's got so much power at his age, and how he hits the ball at age 37, and how he dips down to one knee and hits home runs all the time and just never ceases to amaze me how great he is at fielding. Then you have Carlos Gomez in left field with the Shields backing him up and Jerkson Profar backing him up. And then center field, you have Ian Desmond, who the Rangers got from the Nationals during the offseason, who was a huge pickup. And Ian Desmond's in the talk for the AL MVP. He's batting .285, 22 home runs, 83 RBIs, and a .338 on-base percentage. And this guy was the best thing that happened to the Rangers probably since, I'd probably say, Adrian Beltre. The great pickup for them. And also the rookie Nomar Mazara, batting .270 with 18 home runs, 59 RBIs, and always steps in when he's needed and comes in clutch for Texas. But my one thing about the Rangers is their pitching. And no, it's not their bullpen like it has been these past couple of years. The bullpen's fine. It's their starting lineup. But yeah, you might tell me that they have Cole Hamels and Yu Darvish, which is true. Two great pitchers. But who do you have after that? Because what are you going to put into a 7-game series after those two? You got Derek Holland, the 29-year-old who's never been able to grow a mustache. Hey, I can't either. It's just something I've always noticed. He always tries to grow a mustache. He's pitching .493 on the year and then you have Martin Perez, who's great every now and then, game on, game off, but very inconsistent. Throwing .420 this year. And then AJ Griffin. See, I follow the Rangers. I don't even know who that is. He's a 28-year-old, 2 years in the league. He's pitching .478. And I think if they were the Rangers, I think the Rangers should have tried at least harder to get pitching, more starting pitchers, at least quality starters, to go into the postseason. Because if you're Jeff Bannister, the manager for the Rangers, are you going to pitch Cole Hamels, then Yu Darvish, or vice versa, as games 1 and 2? Or are you going to put Darvish or Hamels, whichever one he decides, in games 3 or 4? So you can have a great starter right down there. And to make sure that you can have a great chance to win game 1 and also a great chance to win game 4. Just in case you lose 2 and 3, you have a great chance to win right there. And with having two great pitchers, but then all your other starters are just bleh, that doesn't suit well for a 7-game series at all. And I think that if there's going to be a downfall for the Rangers this year going into the playoffs, it's going to be their starting pitching. And with the lineup like the Red Sox that they might have to face in the ALCS, with the Orioles that they get the wild card, with a lineup like that, with a loaded, power hitting baseball team, which has been the Achilles heel of the Rangers, as you can see last year with the Blue Jays and Jose Bautista. That's going to be their downfall. And losing Josh Hamilton and losing Prince Fielder, I think losing Prince Fielder, it was bad on the team, but the Rangers picked it up after that, and they have not stopped. Yes, they're on a 2-game losing streak right now, but like I said, their magic number is 5. And with the Cubs clinching, I think the Texas Rangers and Chicago Cubs are the 2 funnest teams in baseball to watch. One, because they're young. Okay, well, the Cubs are really young. They have fun playing a game of baseball, and they are great in every aspect of the game. And thanks to Joe Madden, whenever I heard Joe Madden, left the Rays and signed with the Cubs to be their manager, I remember telling my roommate, who is a huge Cubs fan, that the Cubs are going to be special in 2 years. And what happened 2 years later? They make a run to the ALCS, almost to the World Series after losing to the Mets. And Joe Madden has just done an incredible job with this team. Chris Bryant, I think he needs to win the NL MVP, hands down. And he's so young, so talented. That whole Chicago Cubs team is, and they have so much fun. Then you go to the Rangers, and they're not as young. But you see how they mess around. You see how Elvis Andrus and Adrian Beltre mess around on the field during the game. You see how fun they have on the bases after they get base hits, and how they mess around with each other, and they just have so much fun playing the game of baseball. And that's what you need to do to win baseball games. Because I remember when the Rangers went to 2 straight World Series, what was the biggest thing for them? After they get a base hit, they give them like the claw or the antler ears, right? And they were just having so much fun back then that it was just they were having fun, not worrying about losing. They were playing to have fun, and they were winning. Yes, that's when they had great pitching with Cliff Lee and all these other, starters, but then the bullpen was their downfall. So let's hope this year, as a Ranger fan, that starting pitching holds up. Bannister does something incredible, and I hope to see the Rangers and Cubs in the World Series, because that's, I think, going to be the funnest World Series we're going to see in a very long time. I'm sorry, the most fun World Series matchup we can have, just because they both seem to enjoy playing the game. They're not playing because of the tradition. They're not playing because of the pressure to win. They're playing because it's just fun to play the game of baseball, which is why I fell in love with the game. So thank you guys for joining in. We will have more football podcasts coming at you real soon about college football, and we're going to start doing a fantasy football podcast, because that's all I'm into right now, fantasy football. So thank y'all for joining in. Y'all have a blessed day.